So here are some GOP tricks to try to end Medicaid and what you should be thinking and doing about it, and at the same time, giving you some hope and understanding of it. Hi, I'm Darren Scott Monroe. I used to work on Kamala Harris's campaign, and at this point, I'm encouraging you to subscribe to my channel because you probably want to hear from somebody who's giving more solutions and positive outspec versus alarming you to death. Is the GOP and Trump coming for your Medicaid and your Medicare and your Affordable Care Act and everything? Absolutely. But I'm going to point out what they're doing. Then I'm going to point out who's fighting and challenging it. And then I'm also going to point out who's bringing more problems than solutions. So let's talk about this. Are they coming for your Medicaid? Yes. Here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to defund $880 billion through the system, through the committees, instead of just saying, boom, it's got rid of, because they don't have the votes to directly say, we're going to get rid of Medicaid. 80% of people are against that in America. The other thing they're trying to do is find ways to defund the Medicaid system, like have less nurses or make it a state's problem. They say it's a state's issue. We're going to kick it back to the states. Problem is, states don't have the money, the $880 billion to pay for it. 30% of Medicaid is states. So yeah. So when you defund states, then you really defund 14 million Americans. Then you're going to kill their retroactive care, which means that here they are retroactively trying to get further care of a problem they had before. And then you're trying to do things like lessen the number of nurses. And they're just trying to pull every trick they can in the book. There's even more things. You know the problem. Here's the problem I have. You got Democrats and alarmists pointing out the problem with no solution. That's the issue I have. That's the reason why those of you who haven't subscribed should be subscribing to my channel right now. Here's why. I explain this on social media a little bit. They only let me talk so much about it at times. And then I explain in my private group. You can find out about my private clarity group in the descriptions of this video. Now, that said, let's go into solutions and let's point out some problems that we have. Our main problem is the problem pointers. The Democratic Congress keeps getting on social media stressing you the hell out because they keep telling you about this mega problem, but they don't bring any solutions other than we don't have the votes. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, what's going on? Then when you look at, I know I'm stressing you a bit, but keep following me here because there's good news. And then they stress you out talking through the creators who are supposedly on the left, and they're alarmists. Trump did this, GOP did this, but then they don't give any solutions. So here's why you're on my channel. This is why I'm gonna earn your subscription. There are people fighting this, obviously, beyond Congress. There are three groups. When you're trying to do things like this, for the last 17 weeks, we've had judges, even Trump-appointed judges, Reagan and Bush-appointed judges, who've been saying, no. How do we know? Because they tried to freeze $1 trillion, including Medicaid, and shut it down in the first 2 weeks of Trump. And three judges showed up and said, ain't happening. Plus, our second group of people have been the ACLU and the other nonprofits. They sued as well on that. And then it got even better. 23 Democratic states, almost half the union of governors and attorney generals, ruled in and said, no, not happening. They jumped on them so bad, even the White House changed their message on the back end of their website. So we do have people fighting, and there are battles that we've won. This latest battle we're fighting is through people who are lobbying through the ACLU and nonprofits, people who are obviously the 23 states, they're lobbying and fighting to make sure this doesn't happen and that everybody knows about it. And of course, the judges are ready to strike down things that are unconstitutional, like they did before with freezing Medicaid. They're ready. They're ready. And for the last 17 weeks, Trump has been pointing his finger. The administration has been poking the bear of the judicial branch, who's getting ready to get ready to hold Trump into contempt of courts. Did I earn your subscription? Let's keep going. In addition to that, there's a whole breakdown to understand how this guy works, how Trump works, and how he is failing. It's called the Trump failing formula. Get my descriptions, email me right now. It's the middle of the night, email me right now, and I'm going to send you some links. It's not about, it's actually me. I've been sending out links every day to people, to my premium thing, because this is free. But for less than the cost of some aspirin, which you'll probably need after going through all that negative news, you will find out exactly how to do this, or less than the cost of a pizza, a large pizza. The idea is you want to be able to understand the template that every time you get some alarming news about your benefits, what's actually happening to fight it. And that's what these people on social media are doing. And if we talk too much about it, I don't know if it's because Google is so far up and all other social medias are so far up Trump's butt that they won't let us talk about it. But that's why I created my own private group that has nothing to do with social media. It has nothing to do with it. Completely separate, private, 100%. I want you to understand what's really happening here. We're dealing with an environment where we are up against an onslaught of people who are trying to take down your health care. But what I say is this: there are people who are fighting, who are challenging this. There's some things you can do to help them. And I talk about that. Like, for instance, obviously keep in touch with your Congress. Let them know you care. Yeah, your message does matter. Also, reach out to your attorney general and your governors. Now, if you're in a red state, pick a blue state. I'm here in Illinois. J.B. Pritzker and Kwame Raoul. Reach out to them. Say, how can I help you fight Trump's policies? So, yes, you can do that from another state. The other thing you should understand very clearly is how can you join the ACLU and the fight for our rights, for our Medicare and Medicaid that's out there. Sometimes I say Medicare when I mean Medicaid. Forgive me. But I mean Medicaid, they're coming after $880 billion. I want you to understand that there are people fighting. And at the same time, there's only so much you can do. That's why I created my second private group. You can ask about both groups on how can you get more money. Because, for instance, somebody who's trying to get some medication that normally might cost $1,000 a month may not be able to get what they need unless they have enough money in, and the ability to have that extra money is important. So I'm teaching liberals how to make money as well. Did I at least earn your subscription? Now, because this is not all negative. There are people fighting this. There are little ways that I just pointed out you can fight this. And there's a way for you to stand up and be able to be independent. That's all I'm saying. And that's all I got to say. Welcome.